afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm Katerina Topalova. I'm a moderator to the next session with the Minister of Environment and Physical Planning, Nuredini.
Good evening.
Minister, we have around 15-20 minutes. The floor is yours. Although its strength is slowly diminishing, COVID-19 is still humanity's greatest enemy for the moment. Are there opportunities and is there a possibility for a sustainable or green recovery from the COVID crisis?
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank the organizers for the event and for the possibility to come here and speak on the behalf of the Ministry of Environment of the Republic of North Macedonia. And I'd like to congratulate the people who are still here after a very long day, I'm sure. Yes, of course, I believe there definitely is. COVID-19 has been quite an issue for us, of course. Not only for us, it's been a global issue. It's had a serious impact on the economy across the world. Of course, for us more than the developed countries. It's more difficult for us because we don't have, of course, the financial means to support the way the developed countries have managed to do that. However, though, the important thing is it's created a stress test for every single institution. May it be a public administration, may it be the private sector. It's managed to show us the strengths and the weaknesses. And I think, although it's been very unfortunate, there's no question, I think we need to learn something out of this. And the fact that we need to learn where our weaknesses were and how we need to be able to come back stronger. And when we're speaking about recovery, I think the post-COVID-19 economic recovery needs to be a green economy, if we speak about it. One of the things that are, for example, taken as an example is recently we just passed in government and proposed our new NDC, a very ambitious one to the Paris Agreement, and it's a decrease of 51% in greenhouse gases until 2030 compared to 1990. Now, in the NDC itself, though, we have 63 measures. Of those 63 measures, a lot of them are to do with the economy, whether we're speaking about energy efficiency, whether we're speaking about the mobility, whether we're speaking about the renewable energy. And what we can do with this, actually, when we're looking to have an economic recovery, we need to think about creating new jobs, green jobs. What does that mean? Creating sustainable jobs, creating sustainable infrastructure. Of course, investing in infrastructure is one of the key drivers of the economy, especially after a crisis. So hence now, when we look at the energy efficiency, we need to start investing, subsidizing and motivating not only the government institutions, but also the citizens, because that will have a ripple effect in the economy as well. First of all, we're going to help our citizens to decrease the cost of energy, which was also a topic earlier I heard in the previous panel. At the same time, we're going to create jobs, which we're going to like to call green jobs, of course, but this is job creation. And the third is a lot of the material that is going to be used for energy efficiency is actually produced either locally or at least regionally. So this has a ripple effect in the economy to stimulate a reclimb, so to speak, a recovery. Furthermore, of course, we want to go into the solar and renewable energy, but we can speak about that later.
Is it possible that the economic growth goes hand in hand with the environment protection?
Absolutely, it's something we need to do. I mean, we were all caught off guard. I'm going to speak about COVID now. We all got caught off guard by COVID-19. We didn't really expect it. We got caught off guard. We had to learn to live with it. We had to learn to work around it. Green economy and the climate change is something we've known about over decades, and we haven't really taken the appropriate measures. However, though, it's better late than never, and today, so to speak, I mean, symbolically, today is the time to actually change that. When we're speaking about green economy, we're making our life more efficient, we're making our life more sustainable. Of course, we're looking, as I said earlier, to decrease the cost for our citizens. At the same time, to utilize and use and economize our natural resources. When I say natural resources, I'm speaking about our mountains, our lakes, our potential for a service-based economy. We as a country, of course, North Macedonia, we are in the green belt, hence why we have actually proclaimed more protected areas over the last couple of years, and now we are in the process of proclaiming a national park. We are in the Balkan green belt, and we want to use our natural resources and create a service-based industry out of that. And there is a huge potential in our country, not just our country, in the region, to collectively work together on creating as I call it, alternative tourism, so ecotourism.
How does the Western Balkan Green agenda affect us as a country?
Well, I think it doesn't affect only us, it affects the whole region. The reason why we are part of the Western Balkan Green Agenda is because we still have a way to go to achieve the EU Green Deal. The EU has the EU Green Deal. Collectively, again, as a region, we have very similar issues. Hence why the Western Balkan Green Agenda was set up by the EU. So we're speaking about all our neighboring countries that are candidate. Of course, I'm not speaking about the EU members already, but the candidate countries, we have similar issues. And the Western Balkan Green Agenda is not only helping us to create the reforms that are necessary, at the same time they're actually offering the funds, partially to actually invest in sustainable future. They were speaking about 9 billion euros being allocated to the Western Balkan Green Agenda, the countries being encompassed in that. This will help us, first of all, to co-finance the investments, may it be in wastewater treatment plants, may it be in waste management. However, though, primarily the key issue again is energy. So we need to transform the generation, the way we generate energy in our country, but not just in our country. If you look at the neighbors as well, the majority of our neighbors unfortunately have the same issue. We use lignite or coal to generate our electricity. Now, hence why it's the Western Balkan, because we don't have the standards that the EU countries have already. I will take Greece as an example, which I think is doing an amazing job on the fact that they are decommissioning the coal-fired power plants by 2023, 2024. That is considerably way ahead of time compared to the other countries. We, unfortunately, cannot do that quickly because we have Rekbitola. Through the Western Balkan Green Agenda, we're hoping to get funds for the investments into the gas network, which of course is also fossil fuel, we know that, but we need a transitional solution. And the EU is supporting the investment in our gas network.
The waste management is a serious challenge for our country. Why hasn't this issue been resolved by now? Why hasn't the economic interest been seen from the green side of it?
There seems to be, if we're going to go back and speak more technically, we have, as a country, we decentralized the obligations of waste management and hygiene and water management, etc. In 1992, I believe it was, when we decentralized that. There was, let's say, not maybe a long-term plan thinking behind it of how the municipalities can manage the collection and disposal of waste. We haven't, unfortunately, created the infrastructure in the past. That is one of the key things. We don't have the basic infrastructure. We don't have the landfills. We don't have the appropriate transfer stations, nor the vehicles. However, though, unfortunately, people have always had a misunderstanding about waste. They think that there is actually a lot of economy to be made around it. Yes, we can create a circular economy around it. So in theory, the waste, we should not see it as waste for landfills. We need to see it as raw materials. These are raw materials we can reuse, repair, or recycle. We are still on the baby steps, of course, as a country. However, though, what we're doing is we've got currently 6 new laws which will address this issue. While addressing the issue of creating a sustainable management of waste management for our country, we're hoping through that to create jobs as well, an industry for recycling plastic, paper, metals, etc. There are jobs to be made out of that, but at the same time, we will need all the municipalities in our country, which we're working on creating regional management systems, all the municipalities to work together with us and adhere to the laws. At the same time, we also need the producers that are producing products that have packaging, and they are placed on our market to contribute to the collection system. This is not something we have reinvented the wheel here. This is a norm. This is a norm that's happening anywhere in the EU. It's the Extended Producer Responsibility Scheme. Companies that have produced glass, paper, etc., should contribute towards the scheme so that we can set up containers around our country or around our city. Currently, I think the average price per ton of any product in our country is approximately 18 euros. 18 euros is a fraction of what is being charged internationally. And of course, we have local companies who produce products with packaging. However, though, the majority are still international companies which respect and adhere to the rules and regulations elsewhere. Hence why within the new law, we are actually going to oblige them to participate at a higher fee rate. By that, again, as I said, we will create jobs in the recycling sector. Not only will we solve the issue of the waste management, long term, of course, nothing's going to happen overnight. It's an issue that unfortunately hasn't been addressed appropriately, but long term we will have a solution while creating jobs on the way there.
Can we secure development and growth by creating solutions for the big ecological issues?
Sorry, say again? Can we what?
Can we secure development
Absolutely. Listen, as I said, the big issues we're looking at is energy. If we're looking at protecting the environment, especially decreasing greenhouse gases, energy is key. So we need to, first of all, not only work at creating a just transition for the current workers working in the coal mines, working in the thermal power plant. At the same time, we're looking at creating a lot of jobs in building and infrastructure, where maybe as I said, energy efficiency, maybe installing the solar panels, maybe changing the heating methods, may it be extending our central heating in Skopje. And this goes hand in hand. And again, this is already happening. When we're speaking about a sustainable development, this is already happening. That means we are trying to create standards, international standards, where we will have new buildings which are properly insulated, have insulation, which will be energy efficient. We want to actually gradually move away from the current mobility. As we know, the city of Skopje, for example, is investing heavily in the public transport to actually have an environmentally friendly transport. So move the people away from using the cars every day. Hence why you heard the Minister of Bekteshi earlier speaking about the question regarding the ecological tax on derivative fuels. We are intentionally doing that as a government because we want to actually invest in the environment through that. And it does go hand in hand because it already is going hand in hand, but we need to explain it better. We need to create dialogue between us, the private sector, although the private sector already understands this, majority. We also need to create a dialogue with the public. Explain to them and demystify what green economy is. Because when we say green economy, people are not fully aware of what it means. Green economy means having a sustainable investment, something that will actually reap rewards in the very near future for themselves. When we're speaking about especially energy efficiency, we need to explain to the people that this investing over the next 3 years in your household, it's a capital investment, because this will save you costs in the long run. And this is what green economy is. This is what energy efficiency is. We just need to explain it better, support the citizens, of course, motivate, stimulate, at the same time, create the appropriate subsidies and mechanisms to help them finance that.
Mr. Nuredini, thank you very much for the session.
That's it? Okay. I was hoping for more questions. Thank you for participating.